What up? Welcome back to the table where everybody eat. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button for your boy. And if it's your first time to the channel, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you don't miss out on the plays and updates we bring to you guys each and every day in the market. Now, today we covering Lumen Technologies Incorporated, which this thing has been on fire for roughly, I would say like the past month. But really, if I wanted to get technical, we gonna say for like the last 3 to 4 months, because I think it was like mid to July, maybe definitely for sure in August, that a lot of news has been coming out regarding Lumen Technologies that could have been from one of their earnings reports that they had back in August or July over the summertime. But when September hit, they had some news hit about them partnering with Palantir, and that caused this stock to really begin a solid uptrend from around that $4.50 to $4.60 range. And if you guys are familiar with the channel or the table where everybody eats, you know that we've been talking about Lumen Technologies all 2025 as we watched this stock decline from roughly $11 to the lows of $3 to $4. And as you can see from this post right here on May 3rd, 2025, after Lumen surpassed analyst expectations in their latest earnings release, the stock had a decent bounce at that time from the lows of $3 and was sitting at the prior support of $3.78. We were waiting for a pullback to around $3.30, $3.42 before going long. Overhead resistance was around $4.05 to $4.13. And if we can't break, then the next resistance would be $4.40 to $4.62. Our ultimate price point or price target is $5.13. And at that time, Lumen Technologies' market cap was only $3.87 billion, which you could see from the screenshot right here. And then 3 months later, on August 27, 2025, I told them in the general chat section, because our Discord community, we had a private section, and then we have limited access free section, which now is only $5.99 a week. You can click the link in the description if you want to join. But I had told them in the general chat section that if you've been rocking with me, you know where I stand with Lumen Technologies, and you already know the levels from the YouTube drops. That's all the videos we put out on Lumen. This one here is a potential swing for everyone, regardless of your tier. Buy the rumors, buy the news, not financial advice. And as you see, at the time we were above that $4.75 zone and approaching that $5.13 resistance that I had just stated was our short to midterm target on Lumen Technologies. And on the same day, I made my way over to the swing trading channel, letting now the private Discord community know that this company is like a mini APH. If you don't know who they are, look at the ticker symbol APH and then do a little homework, little due diligence, you'll find out. But this is something nice to possibly swing. Let's see how it closes. Tap in the YouTube drops for the latest video with the levels on Lumen Technology. And then less than a week later, we had this news come out that I posted in Catalyst Boosters, another private channel for our Discord community. And the news dropped that Palantir and Lumen AI had a partnership. And then on that same day, I posted in Swing Trading another update for the Discord community saying that Lumen was on heavy watch and high consideration for share accumulation after the news we posted in Catalyst Boosters about them and Palantir. And you guys can see here that Lumen in the pre-market was trading around $4.71, but it spiked as high as $5.84, surpassing our $5.13 short to midterm target. And on September 10th, around 11:32 p.m., I had to let the Discord know again at the round table that this could and should be $10 in the near term. And on that day, Lumen was trading at $6.14. And then maybe a month later, after we got the Palantir news, I had told the community once again in the general chat section, which is the free section of the Discord with limited access, I told them it may be time for leaps and more shares on Lumen Technology as we are around that $6.56 zone, but we have found and broke out above this royalty zone, as you can see from the chart. That purple box or that purple zone is what I call a royalty zone, and once we get above that and mount that, then that's where we have our line in the sands, those grayish or white lines, depending on what it is on your screen. Once we mounted the royalty zone, we have to get above and get through those lines in the sand before we head to our target right there, which I can't recall. That could have been around $8.30, maybe $8.50. We'll find out later on in the video. Following up 2 days later, we had a banger of a call out that we ended up hopping in a $7.50 Lumen Technologies call option, but we had a banger and knocked it out the park with 570% on the day. And then a couple of weeks later, October 23rd, as you see, we were trading at $7.66. The market cap now was at 7.86 billion. If you guys recall back in May, the market cap was a little under $4 billion. So therefore, their market cap obviously had doubled up since the share price has also doubled up from that $3.50 to $4 range. Prompted me to make an alert for an option play for the Lumen $8 strike expiring April 17, 2026, currently going for $1.75. Told him we prefer an entry on a pullback in the range of around $1.30 to $1.45 if that permits, because this thing was super strong. Otherwise, we were looking for a break and hold above $1.90 on this particular option contract. And then the following morning at opening bell, I know I'm going on, man, but we had some bangers on Lumen Technologies for a while. Not that I need to pull out the receipts, but it's been some time since I made a video on this particular ticker symbol. So later on that morning, after I called out the $8 call option for April 2026, we seen the momentum was there, so we called out a weekly Lumen $8.50 call option at 63 cents, prefer a pullback, but I told them I was dipping my toes in as it was a day trade. And then you see a couple of days later, roughly 4 days later, that Lumen $8 call option was up 100% since call out at $1.75, sitting at $3.35, well in the money, way before the option expires on April 17, 2026. And then the following day, this stock went up another $100 or so, as it was now up 150% since the call out last week at $1.75. Oh, but wait up. The $8.50 call option that we called that weekly contract at 65 cents was now sitting at $2.75 the day before earnings, if I'm not mistaken, up 420%. Therefore, I mean, at that point, you know, everybody took their wins. I was already gone because it was a day trade for me. But at the end of the day, we made a pretty bag on Lumen Technologies. So link is below in the description, depending on the top of the chat, if you guys would like to join us at the table where everybody eats. Now, without further ado, here we are on the daily chart. And as you see, the last time you guys seen anything on my chart for Lumen Technologies was around this 630 range right here before we got to this line in the sand. We got there, rejected, came back down in the royalty zone, reject line in the sand again, came back, held the royalty zone. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and zoom in for you guys. You see our next target, if we get continuation, when we get continuation, is 1316, but we got to get above this sniper fair value gap in between the range of $11.10 and $11.78. Now, zooming in a tad bit so you guys can really see what I'm talking about here. So here we are in the royalty zone. Came up in there, reject, came down, held, reject, line in the sand again, held royalty zone, started to reject the line in the sand again, but once we got above, we rejected that 714. So I told you guys that resistance was $8. No, it was 714. We rejected that area, came back down, held the line in the sand. Around this point, which is the beginning of October, that's how we knew that it was time to go ahead and get them $8 strikes on Lumen Technologies, as well as continue to go higher with the weeklies and everything else. So as you see from the daily time frame, this day right here was the day of earnings. We wicked up as high as $11.32, but when earnings came, this stock came back, sold off the following morning. There was a major gap down. We were on the daily. If I go to the 4 hour, so you guys will see the gap, but it doesn't matter, because if you look here, as we gapped down, we found support around that $8.10 line in the sand, and we filled the gap. We went and rejected right around that, what is this here, 1045, 1046 area. We rejected that area there, and we closed right here beneath this bottom wick, which the low of the day on earnings day, Thursday, October 20th, was 1021, and the closing price for Lumen Technologies on October 31st, after they gapped down, was 1028. So we are sitting right there and beneath this little allotted area, I guess you could call, on Lumen Technologies. MACD is still extended, but it's curling down, as you see. The volume is dwindling down just a little bit, but this was a gorgeous recovery, if you ask me, on Lumen Technologies. Moving down a tad bit, here we are on the 4 hour, and on the 4 hour time frame, now you can see where we actually closed here, and then we gapped down, like I say, bounced around that $8.10 zone right there, which is the only, on the 4 hour time frame, this was the only red candle we had in between October 22nd and October 29th. So for a whole week on a 4-hour time frame, we only had one red candle. I'm just now noticing that. That is insane. And that is also crazy how that's the spot that we found support at on the 4-hour time frame. So now you see the MACD has came down, but it's still looking as if it's curling upward a little bit with momentum being here because this stock was super strong for a bounce like this. I would have loved for us to retest that 50 SMA or that 783 to fill this gap right there. As you guys can see, we'll probably see it better on the lower time frame. But even though that didn't happen, this definitely looks good. Our $8 strikes for Lumen for April is still in the money, still great right about now. Going down to the 1-hour time frame. So on the 1-hour time frame, now you can see where that 924 came into play, right about there, line in the sand. That 840, once again, right here is where we held. That was also a prior high, prior resistance. If I was to pull up the Discord, you got to see that I verbalize these areas or these levels to them, saying that we had to get above 810, 840, blah, 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 blah. 890 was another one. I can't recall what that's at. 882, that right there. Matter of fact, what is this? Yeah, 887, 890 was another area there. But you see we have this nice little gap area and we're rejecting right now on the 1-hour time frame. So a couple of things that you could have on your radar for the coming week or weeks is, first off, maybe this MACD could come back into the signal line, that orange line, reject, come back down. But also, we may find, hopefully, let's just say, do this as a line in the sand for now, so I could do it for visualization. Let's just say we reject right here in this range and get price action like this, then eventually come up, come down, boom. That there will be solid because now this area right here of illiquidity will be no more. Now, let's say we do lose a line in the sand and we come back down near the 50 SMA. That also will be good. This is the 1-hour time frame, however. But if we did lose a line in the sand and come down here and then reject and then stay in this range, that also would be ideal and it's still a hold for me. Now, if we come down, reject, let's just say here, reject, do something like this for a while, then we come down here and reject, now I will be looking for another retest of, honestly, the 810. I wouldn't really look for an 840 hold or retest at that point. Reason why is because of this wick right here still shows that we could get some more, let's just say, price action or some chop in here before we go back up to the upside. But I'm not really bearish on this stock or the market at all as a whole. I didn't look into their earnings. Usually we look at their earnings and everything else, but I'm mainly here just to kind of give the levels to you guys because Lumen Technologies has increased in my search algorithm or so. So I wanted to keep you guys updated with you guys coming to the channel. And then on the 30-minute time frame, you could see that we actually slowed down around that 50 SMA. So now this is what's concerning. Although I like the fact that the MACD has crossed above the signal line, it's still in negative territory down here because it's below the histogram. Once it gets above the histogram, then everything up here obviously is in positive. So like right here, it's green. We're in positive territory. But just because it's, let's find a spot real quick. Which it rarely, on the 30-minute, it rarely stays beneath the histogram, so that's actually good. But like right here, even though this here is green, green is still in negative territory right here. Same thing with this particular zone right here, all in negative, and then this area here is in positive. Like even though this is red, it's still in positive territory because it's above, don't mind my drawing, but it's above the zero line right there, as you can see here. So with us rejecting off of that 1045 zone as well as the 50 SMA, which is around 1031, now that's concerning because what if we continue to reject this area and then again lose this zone here? Even though we have price action here, it's not much volume. Same thing with something like this compared to something like that, etc. So if we were to lose that 981, then that's where, okay, boom, 924 come into play. And then lose 924, we just patient to see what's going on here. And also to see if this 840 to 1045 range is going to be like our new range for a while before the next earnings, before the next news break, before the next update with Palantir, you name it. But that's what I have for you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one. Much love. We out.